In a stunning Instagram live session that has fans buzzing, Taggart of Chainsmokers has openly admitted his love for Selena Gomez, claiming he loves her more than Blanco. This soon-expected confession has sparked a whirlwind of excitement and curiosity among followers of both artists. What does this mean for the dynamic between the trio, and how will Selena react to Taggart's bold declaration? Join us as we dive into this captivating love triangle and explore the implications of Drew's heartfelt admission. But before we continue, I encourage you to click the subscribe button and turn on the notifications bell. What is Taggart planning on doing? Has he been silent for a reason, or is something brewing beneath the surface we haven't yet seen? And what about Selena Gomez? Rumors have been swirling for months, but now it seems like she's finally settling into something more permanent, something that involves a white dress, vows, and a man amid Blanco. But how did we get there, and how real is all of this when Hollywood is so good at staging what looks like reality? If you follow Taggart over the years, you know he's not just some DJ who got lucky. He's half of the Chainsmokers, a duo fans dominated the global charts with emotional hook-filled tracks that vary on from college kids to late-night drivers couldn't stop listening to. His music often dances the line between vulnerability and emotional hedonism, confessions wrapped in synths and beats, but recently things have been quiet. Some fans say he's been distancing himself from the industry, others believe he's entering a new phase creatively, that he's working on something deeply personal, an album, a film score, maybe even something far more intimate. Drew was recently spotted in Montana. No press, no paparazzi, just a blurry fan photo of him standing beside a lake at sunset. No caption, no explanation, but those who know him or have followed him closely notice the subtle signs. The minimalist clothes, the sketch pad held, the kind of quiet solitude that only comes before something major. Is Drew stepping away from the stage to rediscover who he is without the lights? Or is he writing about something or someone? And then there's Selena Gomez, a name the world can't seem to forget. Her story has always been followed like a real-time fairy tale, though at times it's felt more like a battle. From her early Disney days to her very public relationship and eventual separation from Justin Bieber, Selena's life has played out in the spotlight. But this chapter feels different. There's a quiet, deliberate pace to her current life. And it all seems to revolve around a man named Blanco, a producer, a longtime friend turned romantic partner, someone who, if sources are to be believed, she trusts in ways she hasn't trusted anyone in years. Selena has always had an eye for the complex. She stated people who brought both passion and chaos. But Benny is different. Observers say he's calm, funny in a word, unfiltered way, and more importantly, he's not chasing fame. He already has it in his own lane, and when she speaks about him, there's a softness in her tone. Not performative, not scripted, just quiet, real, as if she's found something she doesn't need to prove it to anyone. The question then becomes, how real is this wedding we keep hearing about, and why now? Some insiders suggest the planning has already started discreetly. Not a grand spectacle in a rented Italian villa, but something warm and small with muted candles, maybe in upstate New York or somewhere deeply personal to Selena. She's reportedly asked a few friends to keep dates open for early spring. Benny, on his part, has remained tight-lipped, but has been seen visiting jewelers Marathon once. Never leaving with anything flashy, but always with a grin like he knows something we don't. What's curious is how both of these stories, Drew's withdrawal and Selena's quiet return, are happening at the same time in the same year. To people who variants rumored to be linked, now walking very different paths, was there ever anything real between them, or was that just one of those fleeting Hollywood mints when two stars' timelines briefly crossed? Or, and this is where speculation grows murky, could one story quietly influencing the other? There's a school of thought that says every artist has a muse, and that sometimes muses don't stick around, they inspire, they create ripple effects, and then they go. Drew's last few posts on social media had subtle, poetic captions. One of them simply read, "You can miss someone who isn't yours." That caption came just 2 days after Selena's first public post with Benny. Coincidence? Maybe, or maybe not, but this isn't a story about longing. This is about change, transformation. Drew may be disappearing into the woods, no doubt of sadness, but because he's preparing for a rebirth, something entirely different from the nightclub-driven world he once ruled. He's reportedly been meeting with film composers, visiting sound libraries, and even spending time in Berlin's underground music scene. He's not looking for the next chart topper. He's searching for silence, for depth, for something real. And Selena, well, if the whispers are true, she's letting go of need to constantly explain herself. She's been through enough surgeries, heartbreaks, and headlines to last all of time. The wedding, if it happens, won't be a grand entrance. It'll be a quiet moment of claiming joy, a way off saying, I've earned this, I've fought for it. Let me have it. Some say love in Hollywood never lasts, that fame poisons intention. That no matter how pure a relationship begins, the spotlight burns it out. But what if some people learn to shield the flame? What if they step out of the spotlight, not because they've failed, but because they've found something better? Benny Blanco isn't trying to be a celebrity couple, he's not parading their love, he's not dropping hints or orchestrating interviews, he's just showing up in the background in quiet smiles and the way Selena's voice relaxes when she talks about life. These days, not the fame, the life. And what if Drew is doing the same thing, just in a different way? Maybe this quiet phase isn't about heartbreak, but healing. Maybe he's writing not to entertain, but to understand. Maybe he's ready to stop being the voice for a very own else's feelings and start figuring out his own. Fans speculate. That's what fans do. They build timelines, zoom in on rings, dissect lyrics. They want answers, but maybe every story needs to be decoded in real time. Maybe we're witnessing to people who are just now realizing they don't tell anyone a performance anymore. There's beauty in the timing and the way Selena is settling down just as Drew is scaling back. Two arcs diverging, two lives once loosely connected, now drifting in separate but equally intentional directions. There sure is something poetic about that. The wedding bells may ring for Selena. And for Drew, silence might be the loudest sound. He's never embraced whatever Drew is planning. It's not something you'll see announced with fireworks. And whatever Selena is building with Benny, it's likely not for public display. But in a world obsessed with exposure, that might be the most radical thing either of them could do. So the next time you scroll past a photo of Drew with his head downer, Selena in a candid moment of laughter beside Benny, remember these are not just moments. There are milestones in lives trying to be lived, not just watched. Because not every love story is about the past, and not every disappearance is a downfall. Sometimes the most important parts of a person's life happens when no one is looking.